Okay, so I think we have audio now. I have my stream. Let me see if I can find everybody else. Good God, this is just a nightmare. And I jinxed myself. I was talking to someone earlier and they're like, you need to get set up. And I was like, no, it's easy. I don't have to do that anymore. It's like a science, I said. Famous last words, I said. Is a learning process, and nope. Okay, I think people are realizing where I'm at now, and I'm gonna have to get myself like totally reorganized because I am not in the right spots that I was supposed to be in for today. Good flippin' flirpin' Lord. All right then, so we have audio. It might be too much audio. I don't know. Tina Rose says she can hear me, and that's good. And Deb's here, so that's awesome. And Medium 7 Up finally showed up. Awesome. People are finding me again, and I think people can hear me because I've got little green dots saying people can hear me. So let's hope people can hear me. As I was saying, I don't know if you guys heard me or not, or were here to hear me, but I totally jinxed myself with this whole shenanigans that you're witnessing because I was talking to somebody right before the stream, like, 4:00, and they were like, you need to get set up. And I'm just like, no, I don't. I mean, I need to get set up, but I've got it down to a science. So it's all good. I'm doing it the easy way. It's not through Streamlabs. I don't have so many blah, blah, blahs. I said that. I said, I've got it down to a science. I said that. So I think we know whose fault all of this was. Mine, a little bit over enthusiastic with the knowledge that I think I have. So, okay, cool. eMusic can hear me. Kenny Casey can hear me. Christopher Graves is acting like he perhaps can hear me. He says, chee-hoo. And Cynthia Krause says she definitely can hear me, as can Tina Rose Cager. So I'm assuming with the green dots and the people saying they can hear me, people can hear me. But yeah, so this was my thinking. And I shouldn't have thought things because that's just what you get for thinking. So I realized that the last few times when I've been trying to use Streamlabs okay, I've decided until I learn how to use Streamlabs, I'm not going to bother to use it because my attempt at trying to use Streamlabs was akin to a toddler accidentally climbing into the car and getting behind the wheel and having the car roll down the driveway. And that toddler, me, is thinking they're actually driving. So that's where I'm at. It's like, okay, just because you rolled the car down the driveway doesn't mean you know how to use Streamlabs at all. So I was like, all right, that's cool. I don't really, since I don't know how to use it, all the bells and whistles, then I can just use this YouTube studio and keep it simple, stupid, right? Well, I did keep it simple, and I'm so stupid that all the stuff that I've been trying to learn with Streamlabs promptly made me forget how to start the stream because it's easy to start the stream just using YouTube. I completely forgot how to do that, so we got the runaround again. I promise you, this is not part of my brand. This is not part of my branding effort. I mean, maybe it should be, I guess. Like, where can we go find her? That's if you'll know I'm an imposter if you can like find me on the first link, I guess. I don't know. So aloha, Darlene. Good to see you. Let's see here. We've got a couple people, or we've got 9 people. I'm going to wait a few more minutes to talk about my big news. I consider it big news. It's really not big news for anybody else, but for me, it's happiness. And I'm going to have a sip of a beer because this is where I'm at right now. That expensive, high quality Blue Ribbon water beer. It's my preferred brand. So, Right, e-music. Where's Mad Statter? Where's Waldo? Precisely. I don't have the red and white striped shirt, but I do have the pink striped hair, so same diff, right? Oh, Curtis, good, good. Hey, awesome. You're here too again today. Awesome, awesome. All right, so today, just so you know, it is July 22nd. And oh, wait, how about we do this? Hey, guys, thanks for joining me here on Chatter with Statter every Thursday and Sunday. I think today's Thursday, and I'm so glad to see you guys here again today. Um, if you aren't subscribed, feel free to hit that subscribe button. I'm trying to get to the 100 subscribers so I can actually customize my URL. It's a little ways off, but you know, a girl can dream. So, and if you like what we're going to be chatting, if you like to just chat about things that really don't matter that much, this is the channel for you. And so, click that subscribe, notify, and the thumbs up like button. Or if you don't like what we're talking about, you can still engage with my channel and click that thumbs down button. That's okay. Engagement is engagement. So there you have it. All right. So medium 7-Up. Okay, so black PBR. I can appreciate that logic to a degree. I used to be that type of person, but then I have developed a situation where I don't want to drink beer that I can chew. Back in the day, I used to be such a microbrew snob, and you know, like one bottle was like a meal, and I just don't like that anymore. I just want to drink it like it's water, and goes down easy. It comes out equally easy, which is annoying. That is something to be said for beer that can chew. You only need one bottle, and it's not running through you. But yeah, the blue ribbon beer. Don't diss it until you get old like me and and then start drinking it. Hey, Rick, good to see you. So let's see here. All right, you're cooking. So, oh, let us know what you're cooking, Curtis, because I might need some ideas for my dinner. Yeah. So, hey, Andre, good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah, beer was the water of early America, Andre, and it was also liquid bread. In fact, actually, apparently, I could be making this up, but I don't think I am. The beer style of porter was developed as a quick and easy meal for those hotel workers that were bringing in the porters that were bringing in the heavy bags. It was basically, you know, like liquid bread. And speaking of which, see, that's the kind of beer I don't like. I like the kind of beer that's just liquid. And yeah, it is like, at least it's clean water. Just there you go. There you go. At least it's clean water. So today though is July 22nd, and I was looking things up, and you know what today is? It's my day. It's 100% my day. It is Rat Catcher's Day. And you know what I did today? That's right. At 6 a.m., I caught myself a rat. Okay, I didn't catch myself the rat, but I heard it happen, and I didn't know what it was at the time. But now that I know what happened, I know exactly when it happened as well. I heard a huge noise, and I was like, well, what did my cats just jump off of? And then my cats were looking at me from the bed, and they were both there. And it's like, well, what was that noise? And then I went back to sleep. So, but then in the morning, when I got out of bed later on, I went looking, and lo and behold, the rat is gone. So now it is safe to begin the repair process that we all have been a part of from the beginning. That's right, my dishwasher. So I will now officially be able to start, because the rat with the affinity for the rubber, it has left the building. So Rat Catcher's Day, July 22nd. It's my day today. It's my day. Yeah, so Christopher Graves, you made a frittata for grinds tonight? Nice. I don't ever make frittatas. I make what my mom used to make with the Bisquick. Like it's sort of it's a fake quiche. It's sort of a crustless quiche that's very similar to a frittata. I never make the frittatas though. I just always, do what my mom did. Let's see here. Beer comes from Egypt. Everything comes from Egypt though, doesn't it really, Andre? And yeah, it basically was liquid bread. Exactly. And Rick, you've got it exactly. Oh, liquid lunch. Suddenly it all makes sense, right? Yeah, exactly. Yes, e-music. You knew it. Rat Freedom Day. Woohoo. Yeah, actually, apparently the National Rat Day has something to do with the story of the Pied Piper and him, getting all the rats out of town. But who cares? That might be what it's about officially. But in my world today, it's all about me and it's all about the rat that used to be. So yeah, it is now outside of the house. Yes, ding dong, the rat is dead. Cindy says, congrats. Awesome shot. Good to see you and Cindy are here. And yes, I'm so glad that everyone can appreciate the happiness that is. So earlier today, if you were watching the Daily Pigeon and I said, I've got great news, that's really all the news that it was. It was just the rat. So, I mean, it's really not that big of a deal, but to me, it's a wonderful deal. Oh, it is a wonderful ordeal that is over. Yes. Oh, Rick, you're bad. Oh, snap. That rat is gone. That's exactly what happened. Exactly what happened. Yeah, the rat with the rubber fetish is no longer with us, and that's okay. I mean, I'm not judging anyone with a rubber fetish. In fact, I have several friends who fall into that category, but I wouldn't call my friends rats. And anyone who's both a rat and a rubber fetishist, that's where I draw the line. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, uh-oh. I got completely confused. Christopher, I'm glad that you are correcting me. A frittata, it's a Filipino tomato stew dish. You don't think you know what one frittata is? Okay, a frittata, the one that I was talking about, is a Mexican omelet that you sort of make in the stove. It's an egg dish that you make in the stove. And it's sort of like it's an egg dish with a bunch of stuff in it, is basically what it is. So hence the similarity to quiche. But yeah, it sounds like yours is a little bit different. So I'll have to look that up. Um, let's see here. 3.14 pipe. The pie piper. Nice. There you go, Tina. 3.14 piper. Yep, the pie piper. You affectionately called your old 67 Firebird the rat. All right. Speaking of 67, I don't think it was a Firebird. God, what was it? Oh, it was a Plymouth Fury. I drove across country when I graduated from college. Me and two other women drove across country in a 67 Plymouth Fury. And I'll tell you what, man, that car, that trip, oh my. I can't even begin to explain the decorations and stickers that were on the car. It was a pretty unique vehicle, and so unique, in fact, that when we went up and down the strip in Las Vegas trying to figure out where we were going to stay, like when I was in line at a hotel to see if they had any rooms, we didn't plan this trip well. We won't get into that. Anyway, when people found out what car I was in, they were like, "Oh, you're in that car." Like, I mean, the car was so noticeable that everyone on the strip sort of stopped to turn and look to see what thing it was that was coming down. So yeah, we were not we didn't go under the radar, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So yeah. Um yeah. Oh my God, Fred the cat. I was wondering who Fred the cat was. Joe, Livy, watching from Vancouver. Oh, that makes me so happy. Speaking of college, Joe and Livy are people that I've known since college. They were not on the road trip in the 67 Plymouth Fury, but oh, how exciting to see people from such long ago tuning in. Um, I'm so happy to see you guys, well, so to speak, as it were. Um, let's see here. So Andre, if they chew on the dishwasher hoses, rubber fetish or not, they gotta go. I mean, if they're not gonna replace the dishwasher, if you're gonna chew through the dishwasher hose because you've got some sort of rubber fetish, at least do me the courtesy of replacing it and installing the replacement. But I don't think that the rat has thumbs for that. So yeah, for sure. Let's see here. Yeah, no, eMusic, that Plymouth Fury, holy crumb. I think a family of 4 could sleep in the trunk alone, and then the back seat was another bedroom in and of itself. I mean, that thing was we were actually it true story. We were driving southbound on Route 666 outside of the Navajo reservation into Gallup, New Mexico. Or maybe we were leaving Gallup to go into the reservation, whichever southbound 666, because that actually used to be a highway. They renumbered it. But we were on southbound Route 666. I love saying that. And the little divots in that highway created such a sensation that suddenly I totally understood what it meant to be like, oh, this is why they call them boats, because it felt like we were catching waves on the water. It was the most surreal. I don't know. It was an awesome. It was it was an awesome and horrible road trip. I learned. I saw a lot of the country, and I learned a lot about the country on that road trip. Yeah. So, hey, Robert, good to see you. You'll be lurking while working. Yeah, lurkers, K crew, you're all welcome. I'm glad that you're here, even if you're not chatting. Like I've said before, don't everybody go K, because I need someone to talk to. But yeah, if you don't feel like typing up a storm, don't worry. The other chatter boxes have got you covered. So let's see here. We've got, yeah, eMusic, 5 kids in the back seat of the Plymouth Fury. Easy, easy. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, and back in the day, that didn't raise any eyebrows. I mean, I remember when I was a little kid, my mom had a VW Bug, and like behind the back seat. Now remember, I was really little. Behind the back seat was kind of this shelf that was basically the cubby by the window or whatever. I preferred to ride the car on top of the back seat, wedged into the window, and that would get you a ticket these days, for sure. Um, oh no, I missed what's going on. Oh, okay, Lona, hold on, wait. Your cell's being a bloody bugger today and glitching, and no ding dong, the stream is live neither. Well, okay, I'll see you later, Lona, but the ding dong, the stream is live wouldn't have worked anyway. I forgot to turn my phone off. Sorry about that. So, yeah, oh yeah, 10 miles to the gallon, Rick. No, I mean, we're talking like 8 miles to the gallon, I think. I know that my 74 Nova, which was my first car, yeah, 8 miles to the gallon if you were lucky. And that was just with one passenger, the driver in it. So yeah, 10 miles to the gallon, that was something to brag about. Mm-hmm. Should you get chips with salsa or guac with your dinner? Well, medium 7-Up, I really feel like guacamole is the logical answer there. But I guess actually the real question is, ¿por qué no las dos? Which is, I don't speak Spanish, but because of that commercial, I think it's Old El Paso taco shells. Why not both? Yeah, why not both? I mean, guac is where my heart's at, but really, why not both? So Kenny, you're 6'1" and you spent many nights sleeping comfortably in the back seat of your 70s Buick Wildcat. Yeah, not even surprised. Not even surprised. Let's see here. So we've got a 72 Buick LeSabre. Ooh, that sounds fancy. I can't bring that model up in my head. But if it's a Buick, it's not tiny. I know that. It was a boat, hard to park that one. Yeah, and in this day and age, I feel really bad for people who drive old cars like that. A lot of people who drive old cars like that are driving it for like the hipster retro value, but some people are driving them because they've had those cars for their whole life, or for the car's entire life. And I kind of feel bad for them when they drive them like into the grocery store parking lots, because parking spaces aren't made for cars like that anymore. Parking lots aren't designed for cars that size to back up out of the spaces anymore. I don't even know how you would maneuver a car. Like, I mean, can you imagine, a 73 Lincoln Continental, just driving it through through a drive-through even these days with some of the corners that they expect you to take where the buildings are shoved together. I don't know. I almost feel bad for people who have older cars that they that they're choosing to or that they aren't really choosing, I guess. Like they're stuck with them. People who choose, like, well, you made that choice, so whatever. Oh my God, no way. That really happened. But I suppose with five e-music on a family trip, we accidentally left a sister at a gas station. And the gas station guys were really relieved to see us return. They thought your parents were trying to get rid of the kid. You know, back in the day, parents kind of were awful, and I guess maybe people thought they could get away with something like that. I mean, why would God, that's awful that the gas station people actually thought that. I mean, with five kids, I can see how in a rush, in a rabble, you think they're all there and they're not. Um, oh, wow, that's just how embarrassing, though. I wonder, were your parents just mortified? Like, oh my God, yeah, I would be mortified if I had to come back for a kid. Yeah. Let's see here. Oh, Andre, you don't like the smell of the unburnt gas that comes from the old 70s cars? Yeah, I guess, well, I was gonna say that has to do with the leaded gas, but now that I think about it, there's no such thing as leaded gas anymore. So I don't know what that's from. Um, let's see here. Yeah, Rick, no, you're right. The small parking spaces aren't any better for big pickups or SUVs. But honestly, I mean, when you're out like in the suburb areas, I can appreciate why people have those. But in the big city, I actually don't feel sorry for people with their shiny, bright dually pickup trucks that clearly are not meant as work trucks. They're just meant for driving. And that's ridiculous. You don't need a truck that big in the city. You just don't. And so those people I actually point and laugh at. Now, if the truck is old school and like super beat up, then I feel sorry for them because clearly it is a work truck. But all of those big trucks, excuse me, pardon me, all those trucks that I see in my neighborhood, they've never been in a barn, seen a horse and horse trailer. No, that's just not what those were bought for. Those were bought because some dude wants to think he has a big truck. And you know what? If you can't fit it in your garage and you can't go grocery shopping with it, you might have made a poor purchase. Um, but then again, but with the SUVs and stuff like that, and like the mom minivans, those folks, when you've got like, I've seen some vans that almost look like they're super tall and they almost look like they're little school buses. And when you've got 4 or 5 kids and then they've got their friends and you've all got soccer gear and soccer practice and swim team or whatever, shoot, man, some of those moms need a school bus sized vehicle. Uh, let's see here. Right, Darlene, I agree. It's more for the driver's ego. I mean, I absolutely love and respect the working truck, and when it comes to the dualies, there's literally no reason for anyone to have a dually unless you're a working man who is, hauling a horse trailer, hauling your, heavy camper, your fifth wheel, your whatever. I mean, if the truck is used in those circumstances, then fine. I've got no problem with it. But if it's just for your ego, I do have an internal point and laugh moment. Yeah, e-music, I think you're right. I think that those super tall ones were originally designed for more like commercial uses, for like retirement homes or the special needs uses for the electronic wheelchairs. But I've actually seen like civilians, there's this one in my neighborhood, it's painted yellow and the license plate is personalized. It's the cool bus. And I just giggle and roll my eyes and think, wow, those kids probably hate their mom for that. But it's clearly a mom who has a lot of kids at her disposal. I don't know if she's a daycare provider, a homeschooler, or just someone with 3 kids involved in a lot of activities and blah blah blah. I have no idea, but I've actually seen a couple of those vans, like just regular folk have them. Um, I'm always afraid if I drove a van like that, I would totally tip it over because I just drive too fast, and I know that I would take a corner too fast, and it would just tip over. I know that. No, actually, Andre, not all the tall vans. Some of the short vans do too. Because, yeah, it's people living out of their vehicles is a. I think at this point it's a nationwide crisis. I mean, I know it's a crisis all up and down the West Coast, and I'm pretty sure Hawaii's got a similar crisis. Um, I can't speak for the rest of the country, but at least on the West Coast, it's just how it is. I mean, I'm not saying that it should remain that way. I think we need to do something about it, but quite literally, like there's nothing to be done about it unless everybody does something about it. You can't. I'm just speaking, I guess, from my frustration with my own hometown right now. It's election time for city council, and so you've got all the people who are hating on the homeless and complaining that the city council hasn't done anything. And it's like, well, what are they supposed to do? I mean, there's no place for them to live. And sure, we can kick them out of the city, but the city that's right up the road from us, when they kick their homeless people out, we're just shuffling people. We're not. So it's like, it has nothing to do with who's in charge. Everywhere has this problem. No one place can fix it by itself. Can't we see that yet? Or am I just, maybe I'm hallucinating reality? I don't know. So let's see here. Oh gosh, Darlene, I had not thought about that at all, but you are 1000% right. Because it's mandatory to have a child in a car seat, you need even more room in a car. That's true. I mean, you can't fit 5 kids in the back seat of a Plymouth Fury these days. It's illegal. I mean, you could fit them, but you'd get a ticket if you did, because you wouldn't be with the child safety seat, the child car seat. I mean, I don't know what it's like in all of the US, but in Washington state, like they want your kid to be in a booster seat until they're like 11 years old or 90 pounds or something, or and like they've got this very specific metric, and all I'm thinking is, man, I know some old ladies that aren't that must that that are must be required if you're using that metric, like 4'9", 75 pounds. Well, she's 75 years old though, so shouldn't she be in a booster seat if you're going to make the 10-year-old who has the exact same metrics? It's really weird. I kind of feel like the car seats, I mean, with babies and stuff, that's cool, but seriously, an 11-year-old in a booster seat? Are you kidding me? I don't know. I don't have kids, and maybe I don't have kids for a reason, and maybe this is exactly the perfect example for why I don't have kids and why I shouldn't. But to me, it seems like 11 years old is a little bit old for a booster seat. That's just me. So, I had something else that I wanted to talk to you guys about, but my notes have completely disappeared, so we're not going to talk about that. Yeah, all right then. So yeah, the rich people have the tall vans for sure. The rich people have the tall vans with the 4-wheel drive and the satellite service. Exactly. Deb, Darlene, yes, you had a VW Beetle when first grandchild was born, 2-door. Boy, that was hard. Yeah, that's the kind of car. It was a 70s VW Beetle that or maybe even a 60s. I don't know what year it was, but yeah, VW Beetle is what I came home from the hospital in, and it's what my sister came home in the hospital in. It was a little baby blue one. I remember. Yeah, that was the VW Beetle that I would sit wedged into the back window because it was allowed then. Oh, I don't know if it was allowed, but whatever, Andre says you got to drive your kids to school. In many towns, you get in trouble if you let them walk anywhere in richer places. Yeah, I've noticed that. My mom, I mean, my mom did drive me to school when our school started at like 7:00 in the morning, and it was winter and it was super dark and it was just sort of unsafe to be walking on the roads. During that season, that couple months out of the year, my mom would drive me. But outside of that, heck no, it doesn't matter if it's a 3 mile walk. You're walking to and from school every day. That was, yeah, that, yeah, yep. Yeah, Darlene, right, exactly. That's as long as they're tall enough so the seatbelt isn't around their neck area, age 11 or 12, no car seat should be needed. That's exactly, that's what I was thinking. One of my friends who was living very strictly by the Washington state rules, her ex-husband was having custody issues, so she didn't really want to give him any reason for anything. But, her poor 10-year-old kid is like 5'2", and I mean, he was a really tall child and proportionately large. So the booster seat that, the biggest one she could get, he was just like, it was like a little toy. I mean, it was just a joke. I felt so bad for him, but he didn't feel silly, which I was glad that he didn't feel silly because apparently most of his friends had to sit in those seats too. So it wasn't unusual. I just know that at 11 years old, I would have been mortified if my mom made me sit in one of those. But when I was 11 years old, I didn't wear a helmet when I rode my bike either because no one did. Second kid, Rick says, that's why we got rid of my 2-door 76 Firebird and your motorcycle and your other stuff, I'm sure. Yep, there you go. So, Andre, your mom traveled through Europe when you were a baby. She got a little Fiat, took out the back seat, and put in your playpen. Oh, that's a good, cute idea. That would not fly today at all. You know that. But yeah, that's a brilliant plan. Um, that is a brilliant plan. Yeah, Kenny, exactly. Where was that drive your kids to school rule when I was hoofing it to school in the 70s? Yeah, even in the 80s, man. I mean, it was now I didn't have to walk to school in high school because I was actually far, far, far enough to have there was a bus. But junior high and elementary school, that was all. Yeah, Junior high started super early though. So like I said, those that the winter time of year when it was dark, then I lucked out. I was spoiled. Um, but the moment that it was like kind of light out during walk to school time, all the moms were just like, yeah, you guys can walk. Yeah, go walk. Right, Andre, exactly. You grew up in the 70s. You walked home from kindergarten. In kindergarten, I was in kindergarten in the 70s too, and 100%. I walked home from kindergarten. Now, granted, I didn't walk home by myself because luckily there was other kids, who were in my neighborhood. But yeah, I mean, 100%. I laugh, when people are like, well, I don't know, my kid is 12 years old. Are they old enough to walk to the corner store by themselves? And it's just like, I think if you're asking me that, you're asking the wrong person because your kid was old enough to walk to the corner store, about 4 years ago, in my opinion. So, yeah. Um, oh, medium 7 up, you're back. Your uncle wants to give you money. Yeah, I'm glad you called him back too. Yeah. Back in the day when I was a different person than I am now, I had a drug dealer, and that drug dealer had a grandma. And my drug dealer's grandma always said, always let people give you money. And you know what? I like those words of wisdom. So there you go. Always let people give you money. I actually don't live by those words of wisdom. It kind of makes me uncomfortable, but it's still kind of a funny piece of advice. So do what I can't do. Just let them give it to you. Um, so you got lucky. You got your 70 Wildcat in 84 and your school walking days were done. Yep. There you go. Oh, Darlene, you had to walk winter or spring in the nicer weather. Oh, I for some reason I thought you were gonna say winter, spring, snow doesn't matter, uphill both ways, barefoot. Let's see. Yeah, exactly, Andre. When I was growing up, yeah, on Saturdays at 10 in the morning, yeah, you were out of the house by 10 in the morning, easy. And all the parents expected the kids to stay out until lunch and then later on until dinner. Yeah. And then actually, in my neighborhood, we took it one step, or not necessarily one step further, but every mom had like a whistle, and the like a referee whistle, the silver blow, tweet tweet. And every kid had their own like code. So like if you heard, three short blasts, it's like, oh, Tom, your mom wants you. Or like, if you heard this looping, it's just like, oh, Kara, you better go, blah, blah, blah. I don't remember what my whistle was, but yeah, we had the whistling system. So if you had to get home for whatever reason outside of the prescribed expected meal times, the whistle is what got you called home. Yes. Yes. Yeah, whereas now, I think if you let your kids out like that, I wouldn't be surprised if some neighbors who thought that they knew better than you, I wouldn't be surprised if they would call CPS. I've heard of some crazy reasons why people are like, well, maybe we should call CPS. It's like, really? You think that because they don't have a number 2 pencil replacement at school on the first day, you should call CPS? I mean, I saw on Facebook, actually, I can't remember what it was, but it was something that was almost as asinine as they didn't have the right school supplies, so maybe we should call CPS. Wow, really? Or maybe you should just like donate some school supplies. I don't know. Your mom would yell. Yeah, the hollering, yeah, the yelling, that most of the moms did that. And I don't remember which mom it was that got the whistle idea. I'm sure it was a mom who just didn't have the vocal projection skills to be a good yeller. Because yeah, most of the moms did. Yeah, the yelling system was very much in place for a while, but then the whistle system came to be, and the whistle system soon got adopted by, like I said, it was a mom that some mom introduced it, and the rest of the moms were like, we are on to this. And so yeah, everybody did the little whistle situation. Yep. Yeah, our neighborhood, Kenny, was sort of a stand on your porch and holler for your kids kind of neighborhood. I mean, usually it was actually the back porch in my neighborhood, but like I said, the whistles, they carried way more than the voice did. I know, Andre, exactly. CPS never comes for the kids that need them, because just because you don't have a second number 2 pencil doesn't mean that your parents don't care for you and the like. That's, yeah. So, oh wait, hold on. Medium 7 Up. I watched a great segment, I think BBC, where they had pairs of children try to navigate the city with a map. They had to take the bus across town. They all made it. Excellent. I feel like that is something that should be encouraged. I know, public transportation seems so scary to people who don't use it. But having a grasp of the public transportation system is so empowering as a child. I loved being able to take a bus and go, either, to the library, to the mall, downtown, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, that's so great. Not to mention also, I don't know where they were, but London, let's just assume with the BBC. Oh my God, dude, London's public transportation is so easy to get around. It is so well thought out. It is so simple. When I was in London, when I was like 13, it was a school trip, and the teacher that was in charge of the trip, she had done this trip, I don't know, like 10 or 12 times with a bunch of different students every year. And never once in her entire life on all of the trips did she ever ride the tube. So it didn't occur to her that her students might. And so we would, at the end of the day, come back from our adventures, and she'd just be like, well, what'd you do today? And it was like, oh, we went over to this neighborhood and blah, blah. And she was freaked the hell out because I mean, we were like 30 miles outside of London. Like when she thought we were supposed to be at, this cathedral that was within walking distance of the hotel. No, we were not. No, we weren't. We took the tube away but it was so simple. She was mortified, but seriously, dude, kids are smarter than you think, and a well-planned system like they have in London. And so, yeah, it was to go find the eye. I have no doubt in my mind that how old were they? 8, 10, 11, 12? I have no problem imagining that 8 to 12-year-olds would easily be able to cross the city of London using public transportation. It really, I mean, I love maps, so maybe I've got a little map bias, but they really make it simple. And well, I just wish that I had a public transportation system as awesome as what London has. We'll just leave it at that. Yeah, Darlene's wondering too, what was the age? I'm curious about that. Oh wow, as young as 6 and 8. That's young. Whoa, those are some brave parents. But I'm not really surprised actually, but still it's like, oh, it's kind of young, but I'm not surprised. Kenny Casey, if you couldn't hear your folks yelling for you, then you better keep an eye on the streetlights. Yeah, well, that was always a great rule of thumb for a lot of people, but in my neighborhood, there were no streetlights. We lived in the middle of the woods. I mean, it was a neighborhood, but there were no streetlights. And so basically it was a case of like, make sure there's enough light to see home by. And sometimes, in the Pacific Northwest, it's like, oh, I guess that means I have to leave my friend's house at 4:30 in the afternoon because it's gonna be dark at 4:37. Yeah, Andre, so you traveled London at 16 all by yourself. It's a really easy city to travel around with the color coded and the whole nine. It's really is. London is, yeah, it's like the city's been around for a while and they've figured out how to work it or something. So, yeah, no, Darlene, you're right. I can see a 10-year-old doing that, but not the really young kids. The really young kids, I agree. And I certainly am not advocating a 6 to 8-year-old running all across the city unsupervised. If I saw a 6 or 8-year-old riding a bus without an adult, I would be maybe getting off the bus stop, whatever bus stop they got off on, and followed them to make sure they got there wherever it was that they were getting safely. I probably would do that. Because I don't necessarily want or like kids, but I also understand that as an adult, it's my job to protect them. So I've been known to do that. Hey, C Honda, good to see you. I'm glad you found me too. It was more difficult than usual today for people to find me for reasons that are all based in my arrogance. So we're going to have to work on that. Yeah, I'm going to have to relearn things that I forgot that I learned. So, well, Andre, that's good. When you were kids, you went to places never alone, always in groups. Yeah, that's ideal. I can honestly say though that, not all kids go by that logic. I on accident, I took a bus trip around my town by myself that it was a learning experience. I didn't end up where thought I was going to end up. Yeah, I was trying to go join a group of kids, but it didn't quite happen that way. So yeah, let's see here. So Medium 7 Up says, I think it was pairs of kids of different ages. Right. And they were very safe with all the cameras following. That's true. That's true. Oh, and they had safety folks staged at every corner. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I was wondering, like, God, I just don't see that kind of show happening in the United States. We're so litigious here. What type of, how it feels like that premise is unsafe. But really, of course, you outlined it. So, of course, right. There's safety people at those kids are never left out of sight. And not to mention, yeah, the camera's following them. Duh. Still though, I'm curious. I'm gonna have to go maybe Google that. That's kind of that sounds exactly like a type of documentary that I would be enthralled with. And suddenly it's like, oh, 45 minutes have passed and I totally wasted my time, but I enjoyed myself. Yeah. So, let's see here. I had something that I was really happy to tell you guys other than the rat. I wish I could find my notes because I take notes. I actually do plan content, even though it's rarely followed. I do plan it. All right, I'm going to take a sip of my adult beverage. Oh, okay. One thing that this wasn't what I wanted to tell you about, but this is one thing I remember. Do you guys know what a spoonerism is? Because not only is today um National Rat Catching Day, it's also National Spoonerisms Day. And I knew what a spoonerism was. I didn't know what it was called. But now I do, and I have a particularly favorite spoonerism. Um and I've had this spoonerism one as I use it regularly. In fact, I cannot say the phrase properly because my brain just says the phrase in the wrong way. And so, do you guys know what a spoonerism is? I will wait. Rick, I should make a spreadsheet for those notes. Yeah, actually, I should. And I'm gonna maybe have to because the notebook that I've been using, and this is why I can't find it. The notebook. Oh, there it is. It's across the room. The notebook that I've been using is full. Like all the pages have been used. So I'm going to need to find a new way to take notes. So a spreadsheet might actually be what ends up happening. And you can make fun of my spreadsheets all you want. That's fine. I have no problem. But I like to have lists. And some of my lists have come in very handy. Even Andy on the Daily Pigeon Live has referred to my lists, or I've had to refer to them for him. But you know, Rick, and I know that you know this, we still need to figure out what that one instrumental song is that you insist is on the Mililani ride or something like that, the motorcycle ride. I know I saw you ask for that the other day, and I was like, oh yes, good one, Rick. I got to get that filled out because that's a blank spot on my on that spreadsheet that we all worked on. C Honda, Rick, and I worked on it, and I don't like those blank spots. So yeah, spoonerism is a phrase that I use, is a phrase where words get or letters. All right, let me give you an example. Whenever I'm talking about some car that has dark windows, it's not tinted windows. I call them winted tindos. So it's when you like switch the letters. And winted tindos, I honestly I say that with everything, or whenever I say that phrase, I don't even think about how it's not the right phrase. I mean, everybody oftentimes people are like, "Did you just say?" And it's like, "Yeah, I did." But the reason why I remember it is there was this guy who he was like the coolest guy in the school, right? And my best friend at the time had a total crush on him, and I think he had a crush on her. Anyway, he was talking about his favorite, like his dream car. And as he said, described his dream car, he wanted to say tinted windows, but instead he said winted tindos. And he got so embarrassed because, you're like 13 and trying to impress a girl, and he like got his words all confused. And for some reason, that phrase has stuck with me the rest of my life. And I now, instead of saying tinted windows, yeah, that's the right way. Instead of saying tinted windows, I say winted tindos. So a spoonerism is that blah, blah, blah. Let's see here. I know, yeah, Rick, school supplies do go on sale in August, and it's really disturbing. But I was on some Facebook page, some YouTube channel. I'm not going to tell you where I was. I was somewhere online in social media, and someone was saying that oh, all the kids go back to school in August anyway, so blah blah blah. And I was like, the heck they do. People don't go back to school in my parts until after Labor Day. But apparently, in a lot of parts of the country, kids go back to school in August. Like that's when they go, which is bizarre to me. Yeah, the Japanese kids are raised to be more independent. They clean their schools and even serve their own lunches. No lunch ladies serving. Yeah, I don't necessarily know if that's a lesson in independence as much as it is and a lesson um in community building and just mutual aid and how to be a how to take care of how to take care of your house, your world, yourself. We really should, as opposed to the hierarchical situation we've got in our schools where, the janitor is looked down upon. It's like, well, if you you clean up after yourself for so long and realize, oh, that is some honorable flipping work. That's just not to be looked down upon with that. I really do like that the Japanese school system does that with their kids. We definitely do not do that here in the States. Oh, did the Go-Go's write a song about me back in the day? Girl of 100 lists. Yes. That is for sure. Oh, Rick is a spreadsheet pro, so he's not making fun of my spreadsheets, Darlene. Okay, all right. Actually, I'm not surprised that he is because he helped to formulate that spreadsheet that I was using for the Daily Pigeon Live, which, by the way, I know that there might be some people here who are like, who is this Andy person? What is Daily Pigeon Live? Andy Bumatai is a comedian who has a Twitch stream. It's a live stream every morning at 6 a.m. Hawaii time, 9 a.m. West Coast time, noon on the East Coast. And many of the people who are in my chat here are also fans of the Daily Pigeon Live. And so many times we are making references to things that happened or we've seen on that show. And frankly, you should join the Daily Pigeon Live and the Hamajang Gang because it's a really fun group of people. If you don't mind the people you're seeing here, you'll see them there. And Andy also has, content. So music, videos, Hawaii based for the most part. It is a way for you to get a piece of Hawaii in your life every single day for an hour and a half, at least. It's a beautiful thing. So, Deb, yeah, there's 1,000,008 fun spoonerisms. Unfortunately, I couldn't, I don't have my notes with me, and so I can't tell you that. Yeah, I know it's sad and pathetic that I only have half the content that I meant to bring to the show today. But let's see. Gosh, let me see. Some of the spoonerisms were really funny. So a spoonerism is a phrase in which some of the sounds have been mixed up, whether accidentally or intentionally, um, according to the internet. So like a runny babbit, that would be a bunny rabbit. It's a runny babbit. Oh yeah, Runny Babbit. That's the book by Shel Silverstein that's full of spoonerisms. So let's see here. There was one that was really funny that I wanted to share. But I guess I won't. So there you go. But yeah, there's a whole book about him. Shel Silverstein, Runny Babbit. Shel Silverstein, he was a pretty funny guy. He also did some work that was not safe for children. I was really surprised to learn how prolific he was in Playboy and his comics and his writings. Just because I was so associative. He was a kid's writer as far as I was concerned. When I was a kid, he was the funniest kids poet in the world. Where the sidewalk ends, you got to be kidding me. That was brilliant stuff. So when I found out that he did, he had some pretty risque work that he did there, Shel Silverstein. He was quite the well-rounded character. So I should see some of the spreadsheets that are financial spreadsheets, the taxes and stuff. Yeah, no, I don't, Darlene, actually, I don't want to see those. I will take for word that he's good at them, but honestly, I look at those for work. I don't, no, no, nah. So, oh, Andre, you know what book I'm talking about, and you thought that was just Shell being weird? No, it's actually like a real thing. I mean, maybe a little bit of both. Shell was being weird, I guess. But yeah, it's actually a real thing. Apparently, they're called spoonerisms. Yes. Oh, excellent, Terry. You sneaking into the back row after a long laughter-filled lunch with some gangers. Awesome. Two questions. Where did you go? And also, who did you see? I know that you answered or you told us who you were planning on seeing earlier today on the Daily Pigeon Live, but I don't remember what you said. So tell me again, maybe? Maybe? Andre, you hate The Giving Tree. The Giving Tree is a mixed bag of a book, that's for sure. Definitely not a book with the happiest of endings. Yeah. Well, Andre, actually, yeah, that that interpretation of that book that you were outlining in your head you're not the only one who has framed it that way or similar to that. Oh, you went to Zippy's? Of course. Why would I even? Yeah. Oh, right. Nancy and Rick, of course, are in town because of DJ Don Famui Na. I don't know if I said his last name right. A Twitch DJ streamer who is from Hawaii. He recently got a partner level affiliate, I guess, or partnership with Twitch. And sounds like he had a really big bash this weekend. Or, I mean, he looks like he had a really big bash yesterday. Photo Luke showed some stuff on his Twitch stream today. And for those of you who might not know, Photo Luke is a content creator for both YouTube and for Twitch. I'm not going to tell you Photo Luke's schedule because right now it's kind of up in the air and I don't remember it. But he does live streams on both Twitch and YouTube. Photo Luke Hawaii is who you need to look up. He is part of the Daily Pigeon Live Ohana. He's got his own Ohana. And yeah, we're all one big group over here these days. So, yeah, Darlene, Photo Luke, like I said, yeah, just met up with Nancy and Rick. I don't know about Wild Willie, but yeah, he showed a video of them meeting up today, I think, on his live stream. So let's see here. Curtis Nix, at the last World Cup rugby tournament, Japanese fans were noted for cleaning their area before they left, picked up all the rubbish. Yeah, that tracks with, their habits in school, etc. Oh my God, Terry, you walked right past the DJ Don picnic at the beach yesterday. Oh, too bad you didn't know, because I'm sure would have welcomed you with open arms once, once you said who you were. But Curtis, back to the whole cleaning up thing. It's funny you should say that. So there was a festival, Seattle Hemp Fest, and it was a weed festival that was held in this one particular park that had a lot of homeless action in that area of town. So this park every year was used for the festival, and the city didn't like the festival taking place. The city tried to put up as much political blockades and hoops to jump through, bureaucratic nightmares, I guess is what I'm trying to say, in order to thwart this festival every year. Well, unfortunately for the city, all of the business owners around the park loved that festival because it was the only time of year that area would get cleaned up, because every single person who went to that festival was instructed it was a huge part of the community effort of the festival. Look, when you go to this park, not only do you take everything that you brought in, you take a piece of trash with you. And so the city or the business owners were so happy to have that park hosting that festival, because the visitors of that festival were so polite and clean that we would clean up that area better than any, city cleanup effort, possible. The litter would be gone from the sidewalks, the litter would be gone from the blackberry bushes, the litter would be gone from that, blah, blah. So even though the city hated the festival, all of the business owners surrounding the park were just like, no, because the city at one point tried to make it sound like, well, the business owners were complaining. And the business owners like, the fork, we were complaining. No, we were not. We like these people. So, yeah, it helps to clean up. People like it when you clean up. Third week of August here in Iowa. I'm assuming you've got a hemp fest third week in August. Yeah, I think it was like the first or second weekend of August was when the Seattle one used to shoot. Seattle Hemp Fest might still be going on. I just know that once everything got legalized, that scene died down a little bit. Oh, school starts. Not Hemp Fest, school. So third week in August here in Iowa. That's crazy talk, man. No. Nope. Oh, it looks like, oh, you got to go. Dishes are waiting. Yeah. All right. I hear you. You'll be happy to know, Darlene, though, I feel your pain. I've been hand washing dishes recently as well, but I think all y'all know that. So yeah. Right. Exactly. Everyone, Darlene, you're 100% true. Everyone needs to be responsible for themselves and clean up. If more people did that, there wouldn't be such an adverse reaction to events. Absolutely. Absolutely. Andre, they do not clean in San Francisco Pot Day on Hippie Hill. Oh, they don't? Well, they didn't have good organizers then. Vivian McPeak was the organizer for the Seattle Hemp Fest. And Viv 100% was all about community organization and community. So there was no lackadaisical attitude when it came to the consequences of cleaning up and rectifying. It was to the point where, they would even encourage people to throw grass seeds down in the areas in front of the three, because they'd have 3 stages. So, the areas in front of the stages get all messed up because there's just people grinding the dirt. It was, it wasn't even just a case of clean up your trash. It was a case of repair the damage that you've done by being here, kind of thing. So yeah, Vivian McPeak was an extraordinarily principled activist, for lack of a better term. So yeah, exactly, Rick. You should leave only footprints in nature and not even those if you can help it. Precisely. Yeah. Leave no trace. Oh, see Honda. Okay, so Photo Luke is on YouTube on Wednesdays, 11 Pacific, Saturday at 9:15 Pacific. And he's on Twitch, I believe, Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm going to say he's on Twitch at 11 a.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays. West Coast time, that is, 11 a.m. But I might be making that up. So there you go. All right. Well, gosh, it is an hour and 7 minutes that we've been chatting. And because I totally don't have my notes in front of me to talk about the things that I wanted to talk about, I guess we might want to wrap this up. So I will say that I thought I did something super swank and I put my YouTube on dark mode, and I was thinking maybe that would help with my reflection in the glasses, and I don't think it did. I thought I'd outsmarted myself, but I don't think it did. So hemp. Oh yeah, dude, Hemp Fest. You don't have Hemp Fest well, of course you don't. You live in Texas. Yeah, Hemp Fest, dude. Seriously, Kenny. Now that's the kind of festival we need out here in the uncharted backwaters where you live. Absolutely. Yeah, Hemp Fest. And Hemp Fest obviously was about weed in the recreational sense, but without a doubt, it was also about hemp as a crop to replace paper and trees, etc., etc. It was an all-round festival for all of the uses, and and in an agricultural area, all of the uses is kind of attractive because you can use it for a lot. Let's see here. So that was one thing you liked about Oakland when we had the demonstration downtown. They busted it up. People came to help clean up and put art up on the boarded windows. Yeah, no, that's totally, it sounds like something that would have happened in Seattle. I think that Oakland and Seattle are way more sister cities than San Francisco and Seattle are. I know that people associate San Francisco and Seattle, but Oakland, East Bay for sure is where it's at. Um, Texas still doesn't even have medical. Wow, yeah, Texas definitely then needs to have a hemp fest. They need to start organizing. I mean, I'm not really surprised, I guess, but God, I thought almost every state had medical. I'm so spoiled here in the Pacific Northwest, though. You know, Washington and Colorado were the first two states to go recreational, and it just, yeah, we're spoiled here, really spoiled here. All right, Cynthia, you're out of friends now for dinner, so you need to say goodbye. Yep. I think we're all going to wrap this up here and say goodbye. So I will see you guys hopefully next Sunday, and hopefully next Sunday I'll have more to talk about, and I'll actually have the notes about what I wanted to talk about in front of me. Yeah, so Sunday, 4:30 p.m. West Coast time, 1:30 Hawaii time, 7:30 East Coast time. Sorry about that. I hope to see you guys on Sunday, and then no Tuesday next week. So it's just Thursdays and Sundays, or Sundays and Thursdays, however you want to frame that. Yeah, so I guess we're gonna wrap this up, and I'm gonna go watch some more YouTube tutorials so I can figure out how to work YouTube again. Figure out what it is that I forgot. And yeah, good. Oh, thank you so much, Andre. You love the unaimed chatter. Yeah, unaimed chatter, it scatters. So yeah. We will wrap this up. And like I said, I will see you in a couple days. And I might even see you tomorrow on the Daily Pigeon Live. So thanks for swinging by. Have a good one.